This is another reason why the 16-year-olds and the 18-year-olds love it. They don't have a life. A lot of you guys don't even have jobs. Chest up, shoulders back. Welcome to Revival Fitness, everybody, your home for gains and brains. And today, guys, we're going to talk about something that always ruffles feathers, and it's something that I've spoken out about before, and I've said numerous times, guys, I don't believe that this training method is impossible to do or that it's never going to warrant results, but I do think for the vast majority of people, especially if you're just talking general gym goers, it's not really advantageous in the majority of circumstances. And that is the most popular workout split in the mainstream fitness culture, push-pull legs. Bruh. The reason push-pull legs is so popular, as I've mentioned before, is simply the fact that on paper, it is so appealing. You get all of the major movement patterns described in one workout plan, you hit them 2 times a week, and that's another funny thing about push-pull legs. Guys comment this all the time on my videos about this topic. Well, push-pull legs is clearly the best because it lets you hit all the major muscle groups 2 times a week. And it's like, do you think that's not possible to do on a 4-day upper-lower, or 4-day push-pull, or 3-day full body? Right? The fact that these guys are so condensed mentally to think that you have to do 6 days a week to hit all the major muscle groups twice. Bozo, are you dumb? And this is especially appealing to the guys who are getting into the gym for body image, the more aesthetic-minded crew, because they always think that more is going to be better. They constantly watch these pro bodybuilders online who essentially work out for a living, not to mind all the other chemical assistance they're getting. They think that you just have to do more and more and more to get the most results in the fastest amount of time. And ironically enough, oftentimes pushing yourself to that extent, so much frequency and so much volume, is going to hold you back more often than not. And I'm sure some guys are going to say here, because I get these comments a lot too, well, I do push-pull legs, but it's push-pull legs rest, push-pull legs rest. So you kind of get that buffer in between each 3-day block. And that is better for recovery purposes, I would say, without a doubt, than going 6 days in a row every single week. But still speaking, guys, in terms of the vast majority of people's goals and circumstances, I don't think a push-pull leg split in the general sense like this is really going to be best suited. But what we're going to focus on in this video, guys, is the typical 6 days a week push-pull legs that I see over and over in consultations and comments. When guys hit me up for custom programs or coaching, I ask them why, and they say, well, I saw it online. And that's the entire rationale. That is going to be a recipe for disaster, especially too because most of these young guys, they want to be shredded all the time. They don't eat. So you're talking about low food intake, a lot of volume, and a lot of frequency. That is a recipe how to stall and plateau endlessly in the gym. But that brings us into the meat and potatoes of this video now. Because let's assume that you're not doing too much volume, let's assume that you're eating well, depending on your circumstances, you're sleeping, recovering, all that other stuff. There's still one other largely overlooked factor, in my opinion, as to why push-pull legs 6 days a week is not going to be as advantageous for your results as other programs. And that's simply because you're in the gym 6 days a week. What does that inherently do? That a program that is, say, 4 days a week, something that does not bring to the table. Think about the stress on your tendons and your joints. And guys are going to want to scoff at this, especially the ones who are novices, because you're still squatting 155, you deadlift 225, you're doing dumbbell presses with, 40s in each hand? This is not something that you have to worry about as much yet, but as you get stronger and progress more in the gym, this is absolutely going to catch up to you. But this is one of the big reasons why a push-pull legs 6 days a week gives so many guys trouble down the line. Because they still want to focus on the squats and the deadlifts and the bench press, the overhead press, maybe rows. If you're doing all of these movements, guys, 6 days a week, even if you have some variation and variety in your exercise selection, those big fundamental movement patterns are going to be stressful on your overall body. And especially when it comes to the straight bar, which is what most of you are only going to have access to in the standard commercial gym, no access to safety bars and other types of bars like that. The straight bar is notorious for being stressful on the shoulders, the wrists, the elbows, and the low back, given its fixed position. And once again, it's something you need to master. I've said that over and over. But if you're going to be doing heavy movements, and the stronger you get at them, that stress can start to add up. And if you're only getting one recovery day a week, guys, on a standard push-pull leg 6 days a week split, do you see how this becomes an issue? Say you do your push day, bench press. My shoulders might hurt a little bit, same with the wrist, maybe the elbow. Okay, next is pull day. Maybe you do deadlifts on that day, or you do rows. Your low back might get a little bit fatigued. You might also get some more shoulder stress or wrist stress too, depending on your form, previous injuries, that type of thing. And then it comes leg day, and let's say you do squats. Low back is again going to be hit with those. You might have trouble given the bar positioning on the back. Your wrist and elbow might hurt again. And then a lot of guys do push-pull legs. They repeat the exact same workout 2 times a week. You're only getting 1 day a week, guys, to give your joints, tendons, and connective tissue a legitimate break from the weights. And think about it just mathematically speaking. 6 out of 7, 6 divided by 7 is 85%. That means that you are putting your body under some level of resistance training stress 85% of the year. Now, assuming you take some deloads or little vacations, that's going to drop a tad, but just generally talking, 85% of the time, you're in the gym, on a day-to-day, session-by-session basis. Compare that to a 4-day split, which is what I advocate in most cases. You're in the gym 57% of the time. That's a nearly 30% difference. If you think that is not going to be noticeable and have an impact on your performance as you get bigger and stronger in the gym, guys, you're sorely mistaken. And once again, I know you've seen online, oh, you should train every single day, real champions train every day, it's a lifestyle, all this hardcore stuff, right? That is not always true. And like I said, in a lot of cases, that's going to be counterproductive, even for the fittest and most successful athletes on the planet. I'm not saying you're just going to get hurt outright by doing this, but if you guys are relatively strong, especially if you like to push yourself close to 0 RIR, I am telling you this will catch up to you. I was doing my own variation of 6 days a week push-pull legs back whenever everything was locked down in my home gym, which even then, right, that's even worse in a lot of cases because you don't have access to a lot of machines and cables and light dumbbells, ways that can sort of alleviate all that pressure off of your body. I did that plan for about a month and a half or 2 months, and I was fried after the end of that. There's only so much you can do in terms of tangible recovery when you're in the gym 6 days a week. Pretty much the only way to alleviate this is going to be by not focusing a lot on the compound exercises. If you do a lot of machines and cables, maybe calisthenics, you can make the argument there that a 6 day a week PPL is going to be less stressful on the body and more manageable. But the issue then becomes, are you going to get the most bang for your buck in the gym?
Nope.
This is why 6 day a week PPL just always runs into issues in my view. Because it's like, okay, if I don't want to focus on the squats and deadlifts very much and the rows, that type of thing, I can just do a lot of calisthenics and machines and more isolation stuff. And even then, using machines alone does not guarantee that you're not going to be under some level of stress when it comes to the joints and the tendons too. Some people may get knee pain on leg extensions. Some people get low back pain on the leg press if they can't really stay flat onto the seat. Some people may get knee pain on the hack squat too. And the same can be said for calisthenics too. If you do push-ups over and over 2 to 3 times a week, you may get some level of wrist pain. Same with pull-ups, you may get some sort of rotator cuff inflammation, your elbows might hurt a bit, especially on something like a chin-up too with a supinated grip. Wrist pain and elbow pain during chin-ups can become pretty common, especially as you get bigger and stronger in the gym. So no matter how you slice this, guys, 6 out of 7 days a week in the gym has a lot of drawbacks, no matter what exactly you're doing. And this ties into the final reason of why push-pull legs encounters another problem: the mental burnout aspect. If you just go in the gym for 30 minutes and half-ass it and hopscotch on the machines and just say hi to people and you do your little 5 RIR set or whatever, yeah, sure, you could probably train 6 days a week with not much real repercussion. If you genuinely like training and exerting yourself in the gym, it is very easy to burn out going to the gym 6 days a week. And it might seem counterintuitive because of course you want to go to the gym more and more, but you're going to discover that the bigger and stronger that you get, the more weight you can move, the more PRs you hit, especially if you have a strength or powerlifting type of focus, you need rest days. Not only physically, but mentally. And I talked about this in a previous video too, how you know if you're actually training hard. I said in that video, if you do not look forward to your allotted rest days every single week, you're not truly training hard. And I stand by that statement. And a lot of guys too, when you start push-pull legs 6 days a week, if you're a beginner, maybe school started, your schedule's kind of open. The more and more you do that, guys, especially as life comes up, school, the job, all this other stuff, you're going to eventually hit a point where it's like, how can I just keep getting to the gym so much? A lot of the times it becomes a thorn in your side more than something you actually look forward to. And that brings about a whole nother host of issues, because if you are doing 6 days a week in the gym and you miss even one day, do you push back the entire next week to accommodate that? Do you just skip that day? You just have to start adjusting your schedule and all these variables and that type of thing. And also as well, when it comes to 6 days a week in the gym, this is another reason why the 16-year-olds and the 18-year-olds love it. They don't have a life. They have nothing else to do. A lot of you guys don't even have jobs. Okay, what do you have to worry about? Your homework assignment, what your mom made for dinner, maybe texting your little crush at school. That's it. You can go to the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it's fine. But as you grow up and get older, especially if you're taking maybe some more serious classes in college, if you're doing like STEM, if you have a serious job, a family, if you're even in a relationship, guys, that you take pretty seriously, so many things can happen where getting to the gym 6 days a week just simply doesn't become feasible. If it is feasible to go 6 days a week, your sessions are going to have to be relatively short. And as I keep mentioning on this channel, young lifters, especially young men, their ego will not let them do that. They have to go for 2-3 hours beast mode, pre-workout, ziz music, brah. They think that if they're not pushing themselves to death every time they go, that they're not seeing serious benefit. But just because you have the time or the energy or the spryness right now to go to the gym 6 days a week, that doesn't mean that you should. And it doesn't mean that's the best thing for you to be doing to get the most results from your gym time. So if you guys are looking for a 6-day-a-week PPL template that I think would be suitable, click the video in the top right or the pinned comment. Once again, it's very modest, very cautious. A lot of you guys are not going to be able to egoically handle that, and I would not generally recommend it. But if you're still hell-bent on 6 days a week, brah, keep it modest, guys. There's a lot of variables that the novice lifter, especially the teenage dude, simply does not consider. So please heed this advice and consider switching up your program now if you're in the gym all the time and you're still not as big or strong as you thought you were going to be. But this has been it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Big shout out, as always, to the Patreon supporters and the channel members. Join the Discord by joining the Patreon or the channel in the links down below. You can hit me up in my email for questions about online coaching, custom programs, or consultations to fix your own training and nutrition. And I will catch you guys next time.